Welcome to Dealey Plaza, Dallas, Texas, on a beautiful, warm, sunny Friday afternoon. This is Dealey Plaza at the far end of downtown Dallas. You're looking at Elm Street, runs into the triple underpass. The Grassy Knoll is up there. That, of course, is the Texas School Book Depository. On Friday, November 22nd, 1963, President John F. Kennedy was assassinated here. That is Houston Street. The motorcade turned into Elm Street. The president fatally struck. I'll show you where the X marks the spot. That X there is where President Kennedy sustained a fatal headshot. Now, of course, the official version of the assassination is very simple. The official story is that in that corner window, the southeast corner window of the Texas School Book Depository, one man, Lee Harvey Oswald, fired 3 shots from a second-hand World War II bolt-action rifle. 3 shots in 5.6 seconds. One of them hit the president in the head from that window, allegedly. That means all 3 shots only came from there. Yet, literally, dozens of witnesses heard shots coming from this area, the Grassy Knoll, which is directly in front of the president. 51 witnesses testified to the Warren Commission that they thought shots came from here, not up there. But that was only the tip of the iceberg. There were many other witnesses who were never interviewed by the Warren Commission who said shots came from there, the Grassy Knoll. Not only that, but witnesses said they saw flashes of the muzzle fire, puffs of smoke, even gunmen themselves firing from the Grassy Knoll. Over there is the triple underpass. On that bridge there were a series of railroad workers, among them people like S.M. Holland, who swore that the shots came from here, that he saw a puff of smoke. Jean Hill, who was standing probably where these 2 people are standing, around there somewhere. She swore that she heard multiple shots coming from the Grassy Knoll. She also said she saw someone firing from the Grassy Knoll. Try and cross this road without getting killed here. It's a busy road here in Elm Street. Bear with me, bear with me. So this is the Grassy Knoll, where dozens of witnesses said shots came from. Puffs of smoke, flashes of light, even people themselves. Now we are going behind the Grassy Knoll, behind the picket fence on the Grassy Knoll, which, as you can see, is a car park. It was a car park on the day of the assassination, albeit the road wasn't gravelled, it was just dirt. Now, seeing that railroad tower there was a man named Lee Bowers. Now, Lee Bowers had a great view of this area behind the Grassy Knoll, and he said he saw a series of men standing in this vicinity behind the picket fence. And he said at the moment of the assassination, he saw what he thought were flashes of light, something he was unable to accurately describe, but he said something had happened right here on the picket fence. That was Lee Bowers. Standing right about here, where this light pole is. As you can see, there's the X on the spot where President Kennedy was shot in the head. So this was very close. Around here was standing Bill and Gail Newman with their two small children. They were perhaps the closest witnesses to the assassination of President Kennedy, or at least the fatal headshot. They stood here. Now they said unequivocally that the shots came from behind them, and that the shots, so behind them is up there on the Grassy Knoll. Now, they didn't say this years later. They didn't say this a month later. They said it literally within an hour or so of the assassination, because a news crew saw them and realized how close they were to the shooting, took them over to a film studio, TV studio not far from here, and interviewed them live on TV. Bill Newman stated that he saw the president shot in the side of the head, that the bullets came from behind him there, that the back of the president's head was blown off. Abraham Zapruder, who took the most famous film of the assassination, stood on that pedestal right there and filmed the entire assassination. Zapruder also said that the shots came from behind him, which would be in that zone right there along the picket fence. This is just a taste of the witnesses who said unequivocally that the shots came from behind the picket fence on the Grassy Knoll and not from the Texas School Book Depository. There are literally dozens of them. Now I could speak about that for hours on end, listing the individual names of the witnesses, but I thought I would just give you a rundown of that. The simple fact was, President Kennedy was hit in the side of the head from the front. The back of his head was blown off. He also sustained an entry wound in the throat. This is not me saying this. This is every witness here in Dealey Plaza, and even more importantly, the doctors at Parkland Hospital who treated the president. They all said that the president had sustained 2 entry wounds in that side of the head and in the throat, which means those shots could only have come from here. The most likely firing positions were around here. Let's go up the Grassy Knoll. This was most likely a pretty similar firing position. As you can see, there is a clear headshot from here. I'm standing on the triple underpass over Elm Street, looking over Dealey Plaza with a bird's eye view. This is Elm Street, where President Kennedy was assassinated. Now, as I was saying before, there was a series of railroad workers up here, among them a man named S.M. Holland, who said unequivocally that shots came from there, the Grassy Knoll, which as you can see is quite close. Now of course those trees today may not be the same depth or width as they were in 1963, and he said he saw a puff of smoke over the Grassy Knoll, and his colleagues all agreed that the shots had come from the Grassy Knoll and they'd seen a puff of smoke. There was another witness called Ed Hoffman who was ignored for more than 20 years. And with the story he told, it's no wonder why. Ed Hoffman, now I'm not exactly sure of his position, but he ended up around here somewhere. or perhaps over there. I'm not going to cross the railroad tracks and find out. But he said he saw a man with a rifle behind the picket fence right here, hand his rifle to another man who then took it away. So that was right here on the Grassy Knoll. 2 men, one with a rifle. Another critical witness was a man named Jesse Price. Now Jesse Price was at the time of the assassination on the roof over here, which I think is now the post office building. 63 it was, I'm not quite sure what it was in 63. He used to call it the terminal annex, but anyway, he was sitting on the roof, or standing on the roof somewhere up there, and thus he had a great view of behind the Grassy Knoll. And he said that after the shots were fired, he saw one man race off towards the railroad tracks. Jesse Price. So there's some of the critical witnesses who witnessed activity behind the Grassy Knoll, including of course Lee Bowers, who was in his tower there. He was the railroad switchman, and he saw of course a whole bunch of activity going on right here along the Grassy Knoll. These witnesses completely contradict Oswald being the lone assassin. In fact, we've got a good view of the Texas School Book Depository from here. That is the Texas School Book Depository, and you can just see, here comes another train, bear with me, you can see that's the 6th floor window. I'll zoom in a bit, that one there. The Oswald window is supposed to be there. There is a photograph by a man named Tom Dillard, who was a photographer for one of the Dallas newspapers. He was riding in one of the follow-up cars. There was a whole convoy of cars in the motorcade. Now he passed through Dealey Plaza about 15-20 seconds after the shooting had finished, and he was snapping photographs left, right, center. One of his photographs is of that corner window, the southwest corner window of the 6th floor of the book depository, which is, as you see, the opposite end of where Oswald supposedly shot from. Now in one of the photographs, you can make out a face of somebody in one of the, I think it was the corner window here. There's clearly a face in that window, which can't be Oswald, because if it was Oswald, at that moment he would have been dashing across the floor, stashing his rifle and then racing down the stairs. So again, and of course besides, a number of witnesses saw 2 people on the 6th floor with a rifle minutes before the assassination, which again contradicts Oswald lone assassin. So that's just some of the contradictory witness testimony that completely ruins Lee Harvey Oswald being the lone assassin here at Dealey Plaza.